Bit sour. Very sour. They need a bit longer. I'm back. After a week away, I've managed to get myself back to the allotment. I brought my strimmer with me so I can tidy up some of the weeds. The potatoes behind me seem to be on pretty well. I've got a few other veggies that are sprouting up as well. So let's go and take a look. You can see some of the wildflowers at the entrance have taken over the pathway a bit. I think there's a red hot pokers, but I'm sure some of you will correct me if I'm wrong. Daisies, I think, popping up. And you can see the neighbours' onions are doing really well. He's got some potatoes that have been left over from last year as well. And then coming over to our potatoes, these have started to flower, which we don't want, beautiful as they are, because that's going to take some of the energy away from the potatoes that are flowering, or potatoes that are growing. So we want those to die back, ideally. Pretty sure we don't want flowers on our potatoes. I'm going to Google that, rather than just destroying them all, because it seems to have got quite a few flowers propping up on them. A really good bush of potatoes. We'll come over here and see, yep, weeds have overgrown. Tomatoes have started to struggle a bit, although pretty flimsy to begin with. Rhubarb, still taking hold. We've got loads in there. The cucumber thing has now started to get some little gherkins on it, or little cucumber things, courgettes. I'm assuming it's a cucumber, judging by the spikes on them. We had some spinach growing, which seems to have been done over. Our tree, oh no, has been knocked over by the power of the rhubarb. We'll come back and fix you as well. But yeah, a few bits to look after this afternoon, and we'll do a bit of strimming as well. All the weeds have grown over here as well. Just take you for a quick tour of the estate as well, so you can see some of the weeds that have overgrown. This is the bit that I did fairly recently, where a lot of the structure came from, a lot of the wood for the structure came from, along with some of the older leaves. I'm not sure what these are, but they're bloody huge. I'm sure somebody can tell me. Quite pulpy, airy, papery. It's the best way to describe it, I think, papery. Some long grasses. Our apple tree, which is blown up since we went away. I thought we were doing well, but this is doing even better now. Take for a walk around the rest of it. Got some more, Jesus. Overgrownness. That was our compost heap, which was doing okay. Someone's been kind enough to leave a pallet for us. Awesome. Rest of the overgrown weeds. I refer to this bit as the wasteland. As you can see, it's all just a bit overgrown and tired. So I'm leaving this bit for the moment until I've got a bit more time. Right now I want to try and get the beds that are in up and available again. But we'll get there. And the brambles at least, which are still going and nearly ready. So you may be a bit confused when we say brambles, if you're not from the UK, as to what we mean. But you'll see they've got these distinct red, green and almost blackberries on them. And they're a mix between raspberries, blackberries, and the green ones are the unripe fruit, the ones that haven't come in just yet. And you'll see they grow in these nice little bunches. And when they're ready, so when they're darkened up, like this one has, you ideally want to pick them from above ground and give them a little wash, because they have little insects inside of them as well. After that, they're ready to eat. Oh, they're a bit sweet, a bit sour. Very sour. They need a bit longer. And over here is where I've started my first compost heap. We just started to grow over it a bit again now, and it really needs a roof. But you can see, but we can go over how we did this. Taken pallet down the side, one underneath, and then we've got a nice lid, if you would, to close it over the top. That keeps some of the heat in. Ideally, want a hot compost heap, because that's how it recycles all of the horrible bits inside of it. Horrible bits, the green stuff. And then just to take you on a bit of a tour from the bottom of the garden. So we've got a nice little nettily overgrown bit. We've got another couple of beds underneath my feet. There's a pathway through there to the overgrown bit as well. And then a couple of old beds that have been left behind before we get back onto the path. And you can see the rest of the garden and the sheds and stuff. But I think today's plan will be to weed what we can, tidy up what we can't, and then hopefully later this week we can come back and we can get some of these canvases up and start to put some compost down, ready for the winter, some manure, get the soil nice and fresh. Let's get strimming. But back to the star of the show. Not me, I know that's me and I'm pretty cool, but I meant these things. This is going to give you a beast of a supply. Ants on a postcard. What do you do with 2,000 apples? Have you ever seen rhubarb this big? Just to give you a perspective. I'd say I've got an adult size hand. And it absolutely encompasses it. There's a few more of them around here. But big bastards. You can see these flies love them as well. They've been devouring it from the inside out. Wankers. Disaster. I had asked one of the guys to keep a close eye on these for me. My only plants that I've got in here, and they don't seem to have survived. Not well, at least. Got some rosemary. We've got the dead pepper plant, and whatever this was. Just about hanging on. We'll get these out and we'll get them some water. Thirsty work. Bit sour. So a quick bit of research tells me that the flowers on the potatoes should go. So I don't feel as guilty as I did before when I chopped down these little things. Beautiful as they look, sure they're great pollinators, but they're going to take away some of the energy that we're using for growing our potatoes and put them into growing nice little beautiful flowers. So I'm going to throw these where I can. We're going to take off the rest of the flowers that we can see, and hopefully that'll allow us to get some much bigger potatoes. Once I've done that, I'll take away the rest of the weeds that are around the base of these, and that'll help obviously the nutrients that are still down there to flow straight into potatoes as well. And I think we'll call that a day. So these are the flowers that I'm talking about. Beautiful little things. But unfortunately, gotta go. I'm gonna do the same for all the ones that we can see floating around the top. Just snip the heads off and allow that energy to go back in to the potatoes. And look, just to give you another example of how quickly invasive these weeds get. This one here is a bindweed, and this has travelled all the way from the base of the plant. And it's wound itself up. And it just climbs and climbs and climbs so that it can try and get to the sunlight on the backs of others. I'm going to just sit you down a second so I can unwind this and show you the lengths that they get to. And you can see why it's called bindweed. Just from the way it tangles everything up and wraps itself up the body of anything it can cling to. It's worse when it finds a stranger as well, and you get 2 or 3 of them just climbing up branches and branches. There's loads on the apple tree, but they just climb and they climb and they climb. You can see the bugs love them as well. But this is just that one that I had before. So just laying this out from tip to root, you can see the length this gets to. It's then tangled up with another knotweed here, and they're going up the entire length of these. I can see another one there. Nature's little villains. So we'll get these untangled, we'll get them chopped down from the base. You can see in there as well, just this wrapping that takes place around the branch of the plants. We'll get these cut down and we'll give the potatoes space to breathe again. So, strange thing happened to me last week. I took some time off work. I was away for a week and a half. We went to the lakes with a couple of friends, and then to Italy with a couple of other friends as well. And it was really nice. And during that time I made a point of not being online as much. It was helped by the fact that we had really poor Wi-Fi. There's like one part of the place that we're staying that you can get a good signal. But I disconnected, properly disconnected. I woke up naturally at 8-9 o'clock and I wasn't checking LinkedIn or scrolling through messages or looking for the next email or action to respond to. In fact, the first thing I did is I got up and I sat outside in the quiet. I go and sit by the pool for a couple of hours each day and read, sunbathe, and do nothing. It's been a really, really long time since I've done that, since I've just purely switched off and not worried. Now, there were days where I needed to worry. Emails came through, clients wanting stuff done. Can you modify my website? Can you check in on this? There's a delivery that was due to go out for another client as well that wasn't picked up in time. Let's do a bit of chasing on that. But the world didn't explode. Things carried on. Things got done. You hear sometimes about business loyalty, or you're replaceable. The business to get rid of you as fast as you could hire someone. I think it's true in a lot of cases. I think you are replaceable. I'm self-employed, and I certainly feel replaceable a lot of the time. Competitors are out there. This fear of clients getting stolen, bright new shiny toys taken over from individuals with experience. But it's the way the world works. And unless you're continuing to develop, evolve, learn new skills, try new things, then yeah, I think you are at risk of replacement. Why should a company be loyal to you if you're not developing, if you're not improving, if you're not finding new ways for them to make money or retain customers or to improve satisfaction? If you can't work innovatively, if you can't find solutions, if you can't think in complex manners, what are you doing? Why can't you be replaced? Why wouldn't you be replaced? I hear of some people saying, oh, we should have been trained on this, or someone should have shown us how to do this. Maybe. Maybe you could be the trainer though. Maybe there's something that you know that others don't. Oftentimes we're trapped in our own little worlds, in our main character syndrome, that we don't see the problems of others for what they really are, and they're just other problems that can be fixed. Speak to your colleagues, see if you can help, see what value you can add, collaborate on problem solving, do things together. Ooh, maybe we'll find solutions. So how do you cope with that feeling of replaceability if you're an individual or if you run your own business? Like, what's the solution to being replaced, getting old, aging, becoming part of ancient systems? I think it's pretty simple, really. Just be the ones that are responsible for building the new ones. Find the new ways of working. Speak to other business owners. Speak to colleagues, employees in the business, and ask them what's not working and what takes up most of their time. Lord knows you might have already found a solution from tackling a similar problem or a related problem. A lot of times when I'm speaking to clients, especially mature ones, ones who've gone through stuff like ISO 27001 and should have their information management done to a T. Everybody should know the ways of working, where the documents are stored, what processes they have, what risks they face, how they're going to get around them, when those risks are going to become a problem, who's the owner of information, who's the owner of solutions. And they'll have that information stored in a really efficient manner because they had to. They had to show the auditor how it's done. But then they don't show the staff. And that information just gets lost. The way of working, why do we do it this way? Isn't there a better method? All of that's just kept within the team that did this exercise to help them achieve a certification that, I don't know, does anybody really care about? We all know that it's just a label. If it's just a label, is it just vanity metrics? And why in the world does an innovative company care about vanity metrics? Maybe they're vain. Are they doing it for a reason? Does it show that they're actually compliant? Does it show that they know how to retain and store and safely manage information? Does it? So why on earth are we talking vanity metrics? I'm busy pulling out weeds. Isn't that just as vain? Things where we don't want them because they don't look good? Maybe. But is it conducive to my ecosystem? If I've got a nettle that stings when I go near it, or if I've got a mare's tail that pops up every now and again and I just can't get rid of it, it's just always present, what am I going to do about it? It's a perennial. It's always there. If I've got some bindweed that just climbs to the tallest branch and shouts at people and brings them down, then you start to understand why these vanity metrics are important, why it's important to get rid of the weeds and to make sure that processes are in place so that things can thrive. There's so many hidden analogies that I keep finding the more and more time I spend in the garden. And I guess today's is the importance of de-weeding. If you're going to go away, how do you know that your systems and processes are still working the way that you set them up? When weeds do pop up, what do? Do you get the weed killer out? Do you go in there by hand and rip them out of the ground? Or do you need to go in with a bit of scorched earth and wipe out an entire studio? It's the way of business. It's the way of plants. The healthy thrive. The infectious, well, they become known. The perennials last forever, as long as you look after them. I like spending time in the garden. I think you can refer to me as a pretty typical ADHDer, if there is such a thing. I scored well on hyperactivity, even better on impulsivity. That's to give me a combined ADHD type. That's in my diagnosis. It means for me that I struggle to fit in at times. I don't mind sticking my head up above the parapet and telling people when things don't look right. Arguably, some may see that as a complainer, but it really depends on your motives. So one of the benefits of having ADHD, I find, is my ability to tell stories. And this has only come about through years of practice, trial and error. It happens because I've said the wrong things too many times to the wrong types of people. When I've tried to explain a problem from my perspective in the past, it's not been received in the way I intended. I may have been seen as difficult. It's only with the gift of reflection that I'm able to understand that as well. It's only through questioning my belief systems and the responses of others and their reactions with friends and trusted loved ones to try and understand how I could have done things differently. And quite often I'm told, Liam, it's not what you said. Now, if you're one of those in the camp that gets frustrated with people quite easily and uses perhaps the phrase, it's not what you said, it's the way you said it. I can relate to you better now. I didn't understand you at first. How can the way I say something impact your response to it? So, one I come back to is, I didn't steal her bag. 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 It's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? The intent, the context, the point of it. It's in the way it's emphasised. It's in the way in which you hang or pause before we speak. There are ways of saying things and ways of speaking that allow you to be more impactful. In the same way, there are ways of speaking and ways of doing things that can get the backs of people. And in some cases, it's a really, really tight line to walk. It's a difficult one to understand, especially when you're neurodivergent. I find I collaborate, work best with other neurodivergent individuals when we're speaking to each other. We're speaking in literals. When I say, can you do this? They're not second guessing my intents or my meanings or the reason why I'm asking, but they'll respond with, yes, no, when do you need it by? Dare I say they respond in a more positive way? Whereas my experiences with neurotypical people is they might then try and second guess and want to know, well, why are you asking that? And did they do something wrong? And it takes away from the conversation. It takes away from me knowing, is this okay to be done? Can I do this now? To trying to understand their motivations and why they care so much about your motivations and what they think is happening when you say these things. Again, another really delicate line to walk sometimes. I think that'll do for today. Managed to do some de-weeding. Really wanted to just come down and check what state the allotment's in. I don't think it's in too bad of a state. There's not too much to clean up. So, from me to you, hope you have a lovely rest of your week. See you now. Bit sour. Very sour.